Chair Powell did it again. He dumped the markets not once but twice, and we're going to find out which price targets we could reach, because yes, on the daily chart we are forming this massive M formation. We're going to find out what is the price target. But guys, this month is really going to be jam-packed when it comes to economic data, because in the last 2 days we had Fed Jerome Powell speaking in front of the committee, and next week we're going to have the CPI release, and by the end of the month we're going to have the FOMC meeting where we're going to see the next rate hike. But we're going to look at all of this economic data, and guys, we're also going to look at some bullish factor. Yes, we're going to find out what Larry Fink, the CEO of Blackrock, has to say to Bitcoin. But guys, if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and most importantly, activate the bell so that you always stay up to date. And welcome back to B for Crypto. And yes, we're going to start on the weekly chart for Bitcoin to really find out what is the overall picture and to really find out where's our support and resistance. So first of all, yes, we can see that on the weekly chart we have closed 3 weekly candles red. But guys, overall we can see that yes, we are forming this massive M, which is quite bearish, and we're going to find out what is our price target from this massive M, and we're going to take it all the way from the top all the way to the bottom, and then we can see that yes, if we're going to drag it over to the potential breakout point exactly at this neckline, we could expect that our worst case scenario, this dump towards the downside, could be all the way at the levels of $18,370, and we can see that yes, we have perfect support and resistance. So let's highlight our support and resistance in these areas, and for that we're going to take the horizontal ray, and first of all we're going to take it exactly at this wick, because here we can see we had support and also resistance exactly in these levels, and this is also exactly our price targets. So now we're going to look at the Fibonacci retracement tool all the way from the bottom, from the swing low all the way to the top to the swing high, and then we can see that yes, Bitcoin is perfectly holding at the 38.2, and the price target of this massive dump is in between the 61.8 and the 78.6. But most likely I think we're going to come all the way back down to the 61.8 to fill exactly this pocket, where we also can see we have a lot of support, and we're going to take our support and put it exactly in these levels, and it's perfectly $19,500. So now we're going to go over on the daily chart for Bitcoin, and let me just remove this drawing, and then we can see yes, on the daily chart we are perfectly holding the 38.2. So what could we expect? Are we going to see this bounce from these areas and come all the way back up to this resistance? So are we going to see this recovery and come back above this trend line? Guys, first of all, we have to see what the price movement of Bitcoin does in these regions, because yes, if we're going to lose this level of support round about the lows of $21,300, if we're going to break it and close a 4-hour candle underneath this level, we could expect that yes, we're going to come all the way back down to the $20,000 level, where we can also see that yes, we have the CME gap exactly in these levels. So maybe we're going to see this bounce from this very important trend line, and then Bitcoin can recover and break out from this falling wedge that we would be forming if we're going to see this price movement. Because yes, if we're going to form this falling wedge, this would be a bullish pattern, and a breakout from this falling wedge would be really bullish for Bitcoin, and this could bring us all the way back up to the $25,000 level, because this would be our price target if we're going to form this falling wedge and come all the way back down to this resistance and support round about the $20,000 level, and then we're going to see this consolidation and this break of this very important downward sloping trend that is holding the price of Bitcoin down. But guys, first of all, let's go over and find out what the Federal Reserve said in the last 2 days. And yes, no exit ramp for Fed until he creates a recession. Economist says Fed Jerome Powell told lawmakers on Tuesday that stronger than expected economic data in recent weeks suggest ultimate levels of interest rates is likely to be higher than previously anticipated. And guys, yes, we could see that maybe we're going to see a major 50 basis point rate hike. And let's go over to the Fed rate monitor tool, and there we can see yes, at the moment we have a 78% chance that we're going to see an increase by 50 basis points. And guys, by the end of the month, on the 21st and 22nd of March, we're going to see the next FOMC meeting, where we're going to see the decision if we're going to see a 25 or even a 50 basis point rate hike. But guys, at the moment, I think through all this hawkishness from Fed Jerome Powell, we could expect a 50 basis point rate hike. Because guys, next week we're going to get the next CPI release and the inflation numbers, and we're going to find out what we could expect. But guys, let's go over to Blackrock and let's find out what the CIO, the Chief Investment Officer, has to say. Blackrock sees reasonable chance of Fed raising rates to 6%. And this would be a major move, guys, because this might be the indication that we're going to see a massive recession. But guys, first of all, we have to find out what is next week going to bring from the CPI release, and then we have to wait until the 21st of March till we're going to find out what are we going to see. 50 basis point rate hike or even a 25 basis point rate hike, because guys, at the moment I don't see the Fed is going to pivot, because yes, Fed Jerome Powell is quite hawkish. And guys, if you like this content so far, make sure to smash up the like button and subscribe. But let's go over to the bullish news. And yes, the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, is quite bullish about Bitcoin, and we're going to find out what he said. BlackRock launches a private trust to give clients exposure to spot Bitcoin. And yes guys, this will be like GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, where they actually hold the Bitcoin for big institutions. And this would be really bullish, because we would see a lot of money pouring into this trust. Because yes, a lot of people anticipate a spot Bitcoin ETF from the SEC, but guys, this is not the same, because if you have an ETF like a gold or silver ETF, or then a Bitcoin spot ETF, guys, these ETFs are not backed by real Bitcoin, real gold or real silver. They're just pegged to the asset price. And this is actually not quite bullish for the markets, because this doesn't mean that all these investors are buying real Bitcoin, because this trust will be better, because there you have a high likelihood that they'll actually hold the Bitcoin, and this will drive the price of Bitcoin even higher. But let's find out what they have to say. Despite the steep downturn in the digital asset market, we are still seeing substantial interest for some institutional clients in how to effectively and cost efficiently access the asset using the technology and products capabilities, the company said in the post. Institutional investors, once hostile towards the crypto industry, have changed their tune in the last few years, but environmental concerns around the progress of Bitcoin mining have continued to be obstacles for many. And guys, we can find a lot of articles that really explain that big companies and even nuclear reactors are using their excess energy to mine Bitcoin. So this is just BS. The post said that BlackRock has been researching areas with potential to benefit our clients and capital markets for more broadly, including permissioned blockchains, stablecoins, crypto assets, and tokenizations. This also comes from amid frustration by new institutional investors in the market keen to see the Security and Exchange Commission approve a spot Bitcoin exchanges Tron fund. So far, only Bitcoin future ETFs have been approved. But guys, I think that a spot ETF won't be as good as this trusted fund from BlackRock, because yes, we'll have a higher likelihood that BlackRock will actually own and buy all of these Bitcoin that their customers are holding. And if we're going to see approved ETF, a spot ETF from the SEC, I don't think that they're actually going to buy the Bitcoin. It will be just like an ETF for gold and silver, where the price of the asset is just pegged. But let's go over to the price movement of Bitcoin, and yes, we're going to compare the DXY and the Bitcoin chart, because yes, at the moment we can see that the DXY is gaining some strength through all this hawkishness and the rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, and we can see that the price of Bitcoin is going down. So we could expect that yes, if we're going to see this breakout for the DXY and that we're going to bounce off from this trend line and see a higher price movement for the DXY, we could expect that yes, Bitcoin is going to come all the way back down to the $20,000 level, exactly here, when we're going to see this move from the DXY break even higher. Because at the moment we can see that the chart of the DXY looks bullish and Bitcoin looks bearish. So we're most probably going to see this move all the way down to the levels of around about $20,000. This is my prediction for the next coming week until the end of the month, until we're going to see the next FOMC release, and we're going to find out what is going to happen with all this economic data. Are we going to see a massive 50 basis point rate hike, and is this going to bring us into recession? Maybe. And maybe even this is the last rate hike and we're going to see a pivot from the Fed. Because yes, we can see that the committee and a lot of people in the board are not happy with this massive hawkishness from the Federal Reserve. And guys, if you want to protect your wealth, make sure to go down in the video description below and sign up with my BITGET link, where you receive a massive deposit deposit bonus. And guys, we're going to find out what we could expect. But yes, at the moment, I think we have a higher likelihood that we're going to break down to these levels of the 20,000 US dollar level. And then we're going to form this falling wedge and break out towards the upside. Because yes, overall it's quite bullish for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is also the savior, which is going to save your wealth. And if you want to earn passive income, make sure to go in the video description below and sign up to our DAX only copy trading. And guys, we're making 1 to 5% daily. And guys, make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.